Okay, guys, so make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the PayPal, hit the Cash App, support the channel. LeBron James. We all know he's been called out by a LAPD officer for a sit down. Not in a disrespectful way, in the most respectful way possible. I'm going to actually put a link to the letter in the description box because it was so well written, so balanced. And LeBron, his grift now is he hates the police and the police is so bad. And I implore you all to watch my video I did on Akron, on what's going on in Akron right now. Akron is in the midst of a black-on-black homicide crisis. Okay? It's crisis levels in Akron. They're literally having peace walks because there's so much murder in Akron as opposed to previous years. Like, the murder rate is skyrocketing through the roof. And LeBron's running around trying to besmirch the reputation and the integrity of policing. When in 2013, he got a police escort to a Jay-Z concert on the wrong side of the road. Okay? And this was a big thing then, but who knew, fast forward 6 years, he would completely turn on the police. When you're the king, you don't have to suffer through traffic like the rest of us. While on his way to a Jay-Z and Justin Timberlake concert in Miami, LeBron received a police escort on the wrong side of the road to beat traffic. Okay? Black folk know when to call police, when they need them. Okay? James shared the experience in an Instagram video with the caption, "They treat us so well. Needed it because traffic was nuts." He took video of it on his cell phone and recorded it and posted to Instagram. They treat us so well, needed it because traffic was nuts. According to TMZ, Miami police officers broke protocol by escorting James. You think James had a problem with them breaking protocol? Sometimes officers' situations call for officers to, make split-second decisions. They made a split-second decision to break protocol and give LeBron James an escort on the wrong side of the road. And they'll be punished. They said that, and they will determine what punishment, if any, is appropriate for the officers. They also report that, according to their sources, Jay-Z would not begin his performance until the Heat forward showed up. So not only did the police give him an escort down the wrong side of the road to get to a concert, but Jay-Z ain't gonna start performing till he shows up. And I get it. When you live like that, you want to identify with black people. And the only way to identify with the everyday black person is through some kind of struggle. That's the way white liberals have made it. Blackness is struggle. Hard times. Unless you made the good times through drug money or rap, then it's okay to brag about good times. But if you made the good times any other way, but drug money and hip-hop rap, you're a sellout or you're a coon or you got money. You got money. Your people's had money. Your parents got money. So a man has crashed his car. The car burst into flames, and he's trapped inside. Now, in this situation, this isn't even the ambulance that's going to come get you out of this one. First responders. Once you get out of that car, yeah, these cops. And I want you guys to understand that there are 17,985 police departments in this country, working 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. But let's focus on the 17,985 number. This happens in D.C. because I got the scanner, the scanner on my phone. This happens in D.C. Something like this, where the police got to rescue somebody or save somebody's life in a non-criminal situation all day long. See, we got different precincts. We have districts, first district, second district, all the districts, like 1 million people here. So this happens all day long in the city, every day. But let's just pretend like this is Atlanta. This is April 25th of this year in Atlanta. Let's just pretend that situation like this only happens one time a day in every police department. Talk about all 17,985. New York, Los Angeles, Miami, Houston, and every little city in between, right? Let's pretend this only happens one time every day in each police department. That means that this happens 17,985 times a day, where somebody life is in danger and the police show up and save them. Now, how many black men are killed by police while being unarmed every year? 14. And Rashad Brooks is one of them. Now you see the brother, and salute to the brother, but he couldn't get the window broken. So the guy's in there suffocating, smoke inhalation. He's having a seizure. Just to give you the backstory, the guy is in the car. He's having a seizure. The car's on fire. He's stuck in there. They can't get him out because they can't open the doors. The doors are stuck closed because of the impact of the crash. He's having a seizure. The smoke has filled up the car. They can't even alleviate the smoke, let alone get to him for his seizure. The brother, the big old brother right there, is trying to break the window. He can't break it. The lady cop comes along with the green nails and she breaks the window. And a lot of people talk about they don't like lady cops because, you know, women are not as strong, and in certain cases they could be overpowered by a suspect. But didn't I just mention Rashad Brooks? He beat up 2 grown suspects. One was 6'2", 6'3", and the other one was a nice sized man. He beat both of them up, disarmed them, and fired on them with their own taser. So, just send me a cop. Even if it's a lady cop, I'm fine. As long as she got a gun and she don't got a briefcase and a pocket protector like a social worker or something, I'm cool. I'm starting to get pissed off because LeBron James used these people for a damn police escort to a concert, when I guarantee you in a city like Miami, forget the crime, in a big city like Miami, there was somebody in distress that needed some help at that time when LeBron used the cops. But look at the bravery of these cops, man. They run to the scene of a car on fire. That car could explode. If fire hits that gas tank, that car will explode. And shrapnel and glass will fly everywhere. And not only the impact, I've been hit with the impact of a car. I did that. I tell you all that before. For the my sister, she wanted to get an insurance thing. And my dumb butt, I went and got some gasoline from the gas station in a little god damn, I can't remember the name, gas can, and brought it, doused the car in gasoline, stood back 10 feet, and just thought I was going to light the match and throw it in the car, and the car was going to start on fire. As soon as the match lit, I'm talking about everything in that whole radius blew up. Boosh! Because the fumes, I didn't know that the fumes in the air, because I doused the entire car, all the seats, everything, the floor, everything in gasoline. So the fumes was heavy in the air. So it was no chance of me taking a match and then throwing it. As soon as the match head struck the boom, everything blew up. It was a wall behind me, so I flew like off my feet into the wall. My whole face the whole layer of skin was peeling off. And I hit that wall so hard, I was dizzy. Okay? And I was standing 10 feet away from that car when I struck that match. And these people run to those scenes with fire and gasoline and all this stuff just to save somebody they don't know, somebody who probably hates them. This is a young brother in this car. 9 times out of 10, this brother hates them, despises them, loathes them, wishes harm on them, can't stand them. You see old boy right there? I got bounce, man. They're like, yeah, the car's on fire. It's a guy there, a fellow brother. You know, because we all together. We're a community, right? He's having a seizure and his car's on fire, you might notice. If you haven't noticed. Dude, like, I got bounce, man. I need to get, can I get out of here? And look, I to get his brother a break, I can understand. He got a nice car. Even if he didn't have a nice car, he don't want his car getting all that gunk on it. You know, it looks like the cars are very close together, but it doesn't look like they hit. But whatever. I don't know. But I don't know what's going on. But he trying to leave. He got things to do. And cops got to deal with that too. And he could be like, man, the cops, man, I was trying to leave. And the cop, bitch ass cop, wouldn't let me leave, man. I hate the police, man. That's 90% of stuff. Everything the police do is wrong. And it ain't just start like that. It's been like that. Man, the police gonna let me leave, man. But just look at the bravery of these people. All black cops, all of them black. Atlanta, where a good portion of the cops are black. All these inner cities, a good portion of the cops are black. A nice portion, not all, not even the majority, but a nice portion of these cops are black. And they're very well represented. And they do their jobs very well. And people like LeBron James are always on their case.
Homicides in many cities are at levels that weren't reached were reached 25 years ago.
People should understand there was a huge increase in violent crime in America going up through the early 90s, but it peaked and then tailed off sharply over the last 25, 30 years. But it looks like we're seeing another resurgence comparable to what it is that we saw at the height of violence in American cities in the 1990s. Not quite.
And if you just look at homicides of black men, even before this year, I don't have numbers for this year, but I looked at numbers from 2005 to 2019. In 2005 and 6, black men, black homicides of black men were about 10 to 15% higher than homicides of white men. It is now 6.
That's pretty bad, Jack. 10 to 15% higher. And black men, homicide rate was 10 to 15% higher back in 2005 and 2006. LeBron, you was in the league then. We didn't hear you saying nothing about that. How was in 2005 the black homicide rate 10 to 15% higher than white men who are evil racist supremacists and going around killing everybody all day? How did that happen? And we compassionate, empathetic, godlike beings, according to Nick Cannon. How'd that happen? I wonder what the homicide rate's like today.
It is now 60% higher.
Wait a second. In 2005, the homicide rate of black men was 10 to 15% higher than white men. Now it's 60% higher, and that's the pre-pandemic numbers. That was the 2019 numbers. What is it now? And LeBron James ain't got nothing to say about this. Nothing. He worried about the cops I just showed you and what they do in split-second volatile situations where people are acting like complete maniacs. And while crowds are screaming at them, they're dealing with violent criminals. And he get mad when Stephen A. Smith say he had a bad game. You can't let that go over your head. If Skip Bayless or Stephen A. Smith say, LeBron, man, you played like crap last night, he gets mad. But then goes and criticizes cops all over the country when he sees a viral video of one or two cops in a volatile, crazy, absurd situation making a split-second decision. He do the whole, we all brothers with Stephen A. Smith. We supposed to be brothers, man. Black people supposed to stick together when Stephen A. Smith criticizes him. When Skip Bayless criticizes him, Skip Bayless racist. You can't make this stuff up, man. We live in the twilight zone.
Mind you now, there got to be at least 5 times as many white men as black men in the population.
You got that right. So it's an inordinate disparity. And this is the so-called black-on-black crime. These are not white vigilantes and white supremacists going into black neighborhoods and killing people. So, you know, you have already before this year a kind of increases in gun violence in black neighborhoods. And I would expect it's even worse this year, where those increases are overwhelmingly of black Americans.
Now this cop, this buff black cop who wrote LeBron this letter and offered to meet with LeBron, very respectful letter. I mean, just very respectful. Very well worded. I mean, just... it's almost as if he had a PR firm writing. Like, it's just so good. So balanced, so measured. The tone, the pitch was perfect. LeBron is being warned by white liberals that he better not go meet with this black cop. You got a liberal sports, I guess, internet sports journalist, Dave Zarin, who's basically come out and said what thousands and thousands of white people on Twitter and blue checks have told LeBron in no uncertain terms. He better not meet with this cop. Or there will be backlash. They're not going to be happy with him. The white liberals have made it very, 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 very clear through their Twitter comments about this impending or proposed meeting with LeBron and this black cop. And because you gotta understand, there's so many cops from other races in this country, Latino cops and Asian cops and Arabic cops, that black on black, shootings where the officer is white and the victim is black, those only make up 18% of all police shootings. How many of y'all do that? 18% of all the police. That means 82% of the police shootings are Arab cops shooting a Hispanic guy, a Hispanic cop shooting a white guy, a black cop shooting a black guy. 82% of the shootings are something other than a white guy shooting a black guy. Only 18% of the shootings are. That's crazy. You would think that it was at least 50, right? It's 18! And that number's irrefutable. Because when somebody, when you shoot somebody, like, even the liberals know that number, like, this is an irrefutable number. It doesn't, like, it just is. Like, there's no, like, well, examine it, look at it. There's no. The cop's either white, or the cop's either black, the cop's either Asian, the cop's either Hispanic, the cop's either, you know what I'm saying? And the victim is, like, it is what it is. And that's not killings. That's shootings. So as we know, the rate of people getting shot versus getting killed is much less. So it's probably even much less when you talk about killings, but only 18% of all police shootings involve a white cop and a black suspect. But LeBron has been warned. If he meets with this cop, white liberals are not going to be happy. Like Dave Zurin, the guy who wrote this piece. Not going to be happy. So I think that meeting is over. It ain't happening.
Fighting for their lives. This weekend, a march is planned in Akron as residents work to push back against the violence there.
Now, here's why people are pushing back. So far this year, there have been 18 murders in Akron. 15 of them involved guns, and 10 total remain unsolved.
Hold on, wait a second. There are 10 unsolved murders in Akron? You mean there's 10, so there's call for justice, right? Right, LeBron? This is your city. The murder rate is exploding compared to what it was last year. There's killers on the street. All the victims are black. All the suspects are black. You black. Step in. Do something. Lend your celebrity and your platform. Post the wanted pictures of these suspects. Post the pictures of the victims. And if anybody got any information, to call XYZ number. Put up a reward. Pay for some funerals. He hasn't done any of that.
There have been 18 murders in Akron. 15 of them involved guns, and 10 total remain unsolved. News 5's Bob Jones has been covering so many of these stories. He's now taking a closer look at what's being done to fight crime.
Hundreds of people are expected to take part in the Akron March for Our Lives tomorrow, which will start here at the Highland Square Library and end at LeBron James's I Promise School. Organizers say their message will be loud and clear. Enough is enough when it comes to gun violence.
I am speaking out against violence.
Akron community grassroots organizer Sonny Matthews has lost friends to gun violence and is tired of seeing crime scene tape and grieving families around the city.
The reason I take to the streets is because I'm concerned.
What a novel idea. The reason I take to the streets is because I'm concerned. So that would only if we follow that logic train down the tracks, if people don't take to the streets for this, that probably means that they're not concerned. And it's funny, they go into LeBron James, I Promise School, which I already did. I already let you guys know about that. The taxpayers paying for that. LeBron gives $2 million a year when the school reaches full capacity, and the taxpayers pay $8 million a year. So that I Promise School is really a public school. Go watch my other video I just did last week on LeBron James. I'll put a link to that in the description box too. Go watch that video. That LeBron James I Promise School is basically a public school.
Akron community grassroots organizer Sonny Matthews has lost friends to gun violence and is tired of seeing crime scene tape and grieving families around the city.
The reason I take to the streets is because I'm concerned.
The spike in the number of people killed by guns in Akron in 2020 and 2021 is alarming to police and residents. Officers are working to take illegal guns off the streets. So far, 290 guns have been seized, compared to 181 at this time last year. But Sonny says more action is needed from the community.
Our goal and our purpose and our intent is just to give each other a moment to say, hey, we are a community, we believe in change, and we are here for it.
A Saturday afternoon march is meant to take a stand against violence and demand gun reform. Sonny stressed.
Where all the white liberals at? Even though it's blacked out, all you see is fucking Negroes. And you notice, like I told you guys about the Black Lives Matter rallies, they took a survey of and they took the data of the 9,000 George Floyd protests that happened from May 26th of last year to December 31st of last year. So there were 9,000 George Floyd protests in that period. 80% of the people there were white. And 90% of the people there were non-black. So this is what a protest looks like when there's no white liberals around. This is what a protest looks like without white liberals. And you wonder why the white liberals aren't there. And you remember what the lady just said. I take to the streets because I'm concerned about this.
A Saturday afternoon march is meant to take a stand against violence and demand gun reform. Sonny stressed that doesn't mean taking guns out of the hands of legal owners.
It's not my job to tell legislators what to do. It is my job to say this is an issue, and I put you in office to handle issues.
Cody Cross is the founder of the Akron March for Our Lives chapter.
Gun violence can be seen in many, many forms, and it's an issue that is plaguing our communities.
In 2019, at the age of 17, Cody nearly became a shooting victim. While he was walking his mom home from work in South Akron, teens started shooting at each other.
And they started shooting back at each other as me, my mom, and her coworker hadn't even had a chance to move fully out of the way. We were still in the street, in the center of the two sides, shooting back and forth.
Sonny says while looking for solutions to gun violence is the primary reason for the march, the group believes it's also critical to focus on poverty and economic issues that may be driving some of the gunfire.
Lack of opportunity leads to people going into survival mode and acting in ways that they would not otherwise.
I gotta push back against that, Sonny, a little bit, just from experience. It ain't like it's just thuggishness. It's gang it's beefs. It's hoods. It's cliques versus cliques. This is what they want to do. That element, it ain't about opportunities. It's about, yes, there's a lack of opportunity in LeBron James's hometown. Black men don't have opportunities in LeBron James' hometown. I get that, and I'm not discounting that. But a lot of this stuff is like they try to put everything, makes everything this grand thing. Some stuff is, we from this neighborhood, we don't like those dudes from that neighborhood. The older guys, our older brothers and older cousins, were shooting at each other from each neighborhood, and now we the young guys coming up, and now we shooting at each other from each neighborhood. And being one of those guys that's in that stuff gives you a lot of gravitas in the community, a lot of opportunities with girls, a lot of opportunities for acclaim, a lot of opportunities for gravitas. You're somebody in the neighborhood. Like people who don't live in the black neighborhood don't understand that thugs and gangsters, they get the first picks. They're like hood, what they will call hood stars or local celebrities, or I mean, they make it seem like it's all bad. Yes, you can get killed. Yes, you can get shot. Yes, you can go to jail. But going to jail is kind of like a badge of honor. Like if you ain't never been to jail, you looked at a certain way. If you ain't never shot nobody, you looked at a certain way. If you ain't never put in no work, as they would call putting in work, you looked at a certain way. So those things, getting shot is even a thing. Like you getting shot and you surviving is a badge of honor. So just blaming everything on white people and these kids only doing it because white people won't give them no opportunity. It's not just cut and dry like that. The Akron Gun Memorial looks like the gun memorial anywhere else. Nothing but black people. Okay? All right? Brothers. And their killers are still on the streets. How many of y'all remember that little girl in Houston a couple years ago, Jasmine Barnes? Jasmine Barnes in Houston, Texas. They thought a white guy killed. There was really two brothers, but they thought a white guy. Initially, the report was that the white man was seen fleeing the scene. It was just some white guy that was driving down the street. You know how that guy just said him and his mother was walking across the street when there was a shootout and they almost got caught in it. It was a white guy that was just driving on the same road where these brothers pulled up on this woman's car and fired into her car. It was a white guy riding the same street. So surveillance camera caught it, and they said, "Oh, that white guy did it." And every NBA player offered a reward. Every NBA player offered to pay for a funeral. Then they found out it was two brothers, and that white guy just happened to be on the road at the time of the shooting, and that story disappeared within 2 hours. It went from the biggest story in the country to nothing in 2 hours. How many of y'all remember that story? Jasmine Barnes from Houston. Look at all these black people. Nobody puts up any reward to find these people's killers. These people's killers are still on the street, man. And this is just LeBron James' hometown. Brothers follow these white liberals' lead. Like, yo, LeBron, don't meet with that cop, man. Because cops is the problem in our community. Cops is the problem in our community. It's laughable, man. Get in the comment section, hit the like button, hit the subscribe if you're new, and definitely take the $5 challenge. Contribute to the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or the Super Chat. Peace. I'm out.